Claudina McMahon is one of the UK's top 10 life coaches and has helped thousands of tired teachers, stress support staff and harried heads. Now she's received a request for help from a senior leadership team in Manchester who could do with being pointed in the right direction.
Well, here I am today at Boker Vale Primary School, and the senior management team have been going through quite a few changes and challenges. Well, I tell you what, why don't you have a look for yourself?
One of the members of the team left last summer, so it was an opportunity to have a look at the structure of the senior leadership team and maybe to try and engineer a way of making it more effective and more efficient. We've got myself as head teacher, Gloria, who's the deputy head, who's very experienced, an assistant head, who is Fiona, and then beneath the three of us are three more inexperienced members of staff in terms of leadership, and they have different remits under the teaching and learning responsibility payments. I think the major challenge that we face as a team is the fact that we're trying to knit together some experienced members of the team and some very inexperienced members of the team, and we want to try and work as well as we can in terms of using our various expertise in different ways and channeling that through to ensure the team as a whole work as an effective unit.
As a new manager, I find one of the problems that I'm facing is people are saying things which are inappropriate to say to a member of the management team. Because I've been a teacher before and I'm new to this role, they're still saying things to me, as we said last year, as teachers.
I feel I've got quite a dominant personality, so I think perhaps the problem with that would be that I need to sort of stand back and let the inexperienced members of the team put forward their ideas.
Not only am I a full-time class teacher, I'm doing quite a few clubs, doing ICT as a coordinator, which always takes up a lot of time, and then trying to fit in some management points as well.
Ian, Gloria and I meet informally every day, but because the other members of the team, their main role really is still the class teaching, so sometimes I think they're missing bits of information.
I'm the SEN coordinator as well, which is quite difficult. It's quite a big role. It feels never ending, and that and being a classroom teacher, I don't feel I have a lot of spare time, and I don't always feel I know exactly what my role should be.
I would like the team to get help in some direction, so I would really like Claudina to help us get together to say where are we going to go from here and have that clear vision.
Well, I think it's now time for me to go in and meet them all.
Well, teams are made up of different personality types, and balance is really needed to make a team work. I've already sent everyone a questionnaire to see what kind of personalities they have. I'm going to have a talk with everyone, and then I'm going to give them a team building exercise to see how they really work together.
So, Ian, I'm here today to talk to you and the rest of your team about some of the challenges that you face. Tell me a little bit, what are those challenges?
First and foremost is the fact that the team is fairly new, and we're developing really some ideas about how best to effect change within school and move the school forward by using the group as a whole.
OK, so if I were to ask you about your personal strengths, what do you think they are?
I've worked in several schools in management capacity, so I do bring some experience to the team, but also I'm a good listener. I allow people to develop ideas. I'm not afraid to challenge convention perhaps and do things differently.
I've learnt how to take some decisions off the cuff.
Okay.
I've also realised that making snap decisions are not sensible most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it's experience and being able to weigh up a situation.
Well, I think I'm quite hardworking. I'm quite conscientious, so I like to do things well when I do them, and I think I can follow tasks through.
Organisation, memory, I can remember lots of things, approachable.
OK, that's great. And suppose I reverse that and say, if I were to ask you about your limitations, what would you say is a limitation?
I possibly get involved too much and maybe over-concerned about how everybody's going to feel. I don't like confrontation, so we'll avoid that at all costs.
I often take on too much. A lot of my evenings after school are taken up with clubs.
Try and do too many things at once and end up falling between two stools perhaps.
Yeah.
I can be quite disorganised, and I also tend to start lots of different tasks, then, you know, can get a bit overloaded by doing that.
Possibly knowing when to stop interfering. if I'm being entirely honest.
Okay.
I don't like confrontation.
Right, so maybe sometimes you let things slip and they would be better addressed?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I take you as an individual and then put you into the group and you look at the team as a whole, what do you think are the team's strengths?
We're enthusiastic. We all still enjoy our jobs. We're open to new ideas and challenges.
A variety of backgrounds, so we've all got different inputs to give.
There are the senior managers and their middle managers. The middle managers get on really well, and we do communicate a lot between the three of us. Likewise with the senior managers, but we are able, both middle and senior, to go and speak to each other quite openly.
We all think the same and feel the same about which direction the school should be going in and how to affect the change necessary within school to make it a better school.
Okay. And if I were to do the reverse of that again and say, as a team, where do you think your team limitations are?
I think from the inexperience of three members of staff, certainly, that there are times there are issues that their inexperience does show through.
The jobs that we envisioned are not really what they've become due to various reasons, really. So I think when the new members of the team joined, there's been a lot of pressure that maybe they didn't realise would be there.
We don't often have a clear focus. It's a bit unsure about what we actually do as a middle manager, and with the senior managers, perhaps for them to hand more over.
Okay, last question. If I were a fairy godmother and I had this magic wand and I could come along and I could turn the whole thing into whatever you would want, the ideal team, what would it look like?
I think that each individual member of the team would have their own particular strength, which would complement every member on the team.
Responsibility for a specific area. I don't know what that would be.
I think if people gave us time to all get together, because it is hard with certain people teaching and other people not having teaching roles, trying to get together.
Have a lot more focus, but within the staff as well, so the rest of the staff know our focus, rather than thinking, well, can we talk to them, can we not talk to them, what role are they in, that kind of thing.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, Stephen, you're the last person that I'm seeing, and I've got a nice little exercise organised for you. So come with me and we'll go and see the rest of the team. Well, I've got an exercise worked out that should highlight how this team actually operates. There's a shed in pieces. There aren't all the tools that they need to put it together. Oh, and what's more, they're going to be under a time pressure. So let's just see how they manage. Now, what I'd like you to do is to take off your blindfolds. And what you will see here is some wood. There are some tools, and you've got half an hour. Build me a shed.
Okay, come on.
Right, watch the window. Blimey, this is heavy. Well, how do you fix it together?
Has somebody opened the packet of bits that we've got?
Oh, Stephen's got it.
Now, there's a reason why I haven't given them any instructions and I haven't given them all the tools that they need, because that parallels school's life. I mean, after all, you don't have all the resources that you would like, and sometimes you haven't got the instructions that you need either. You've got to just kind of put the whole thing together. And so really, it's all about, this is more like real life than they think it is.
Is that the floor?
That could be the roof, yeah, she's right.
Come on, Stephen, what are we doing? Is this a side?
Is that for the floor? Yeah. Is the bottom the same? Have a look.
I think it'll turn round, because the window will be at the top, and if you look at the slats,
okay.
This is upside down now.
This is upside down, according to Lindsay.
So the floor won't just sit on the ground like that,
No.
It'll have stilts going along the side, the edges.
Yeah.
Have you done this before?
Yeah, I think she must have done it.
No, my dad's a builder.
Oh, wow.
I don't think they're for that, Ian.
Have you never built a shed before?
I've never seen a shed before. Shed looks like. Come on, let's go a bit quicker.
Well, what do you want us to do? We might as well put this down because we're going to be stood here and doing nothing, aren't we?
When you're in a meeting or something like that, you've got your professional hat on, and so you don't really get to always see the personality that's underneath. But an exercise like this, it kind of cuts through that, and you get to see who the people really are and how they really get on together.
Come on, Lindsay. I thought you said you'd never built a shed before.
No, Stephen told us to do this.
Shouldn't you turn this the other way around and nail the bits to it?
Nail the stick up.
Yeah, they need to stick down.
Well, I knew that. I was just checking.
I was agreeing. So
How are they going to work?
you nailed it.
Those ones are definitely for the felt.
Yes, they are. And those are for like the hinges and everything.
So we put the hinges on first, and then put it onto the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
With
Do we need a hammer? We've got
I've got a hammer.
we can't.
So we've got
No, a
long
screwdriver.
nails, are they too long?
You
Screwdriver.
want a screwdriver?
Put one there. And then I reckon that's all we need because it's not going to.
We could have done with one of those.
Power
Electrical.
drivers, yeah.
It only needs 2 in. Just put 2 in, one at the top and one at the bottom.
20 minutes!
If you lift it up, lift it up.
I was thinking that it has got a
That's it, so it's got a ledge. So down and further towards Emily.
Yeah, it won't matter too
Be
much.
all right,
It won't be
won't it?
exact, will it?
Yeah, it will matter if you can't open the door.
Well, we'll find out, won't we, Ian? In about 20 minutes, we'll know.
I think your end is too high. If you just pull it out slightly.
Here.
Yeah.
There you go. Is that right?
It's gonna be that.
With a screw.
A nail, I think.
I put a nail in it, yeah.
10 minutes left.
Keep going, Stephen. Come on, stop messing about. What?
That's all right.
It doesn't matter.
One won't go in.
He's bent the nail.
Stephen, leave. If it's in, that's okay.
Lindsay, how are you doing? I can't see.
I'm stopped at the moment.
Stephen's just spotted a fatal flaw.
What?
He thinks one of these at the bottom should have gone for the roof, to hold the roof up.
Oh well, it'll be all right.
Okay, fine.
But
You've got 3 minutes left.
That's good, Lindsay.
Well done.
Now do the same with the
Nails
other
to
side.
Do this.
There's got to be something to go across. Can you see? And I think we've done it. We've put it underneath.
They were all the same colour,
Length.
weren't they?
Yeah. So we just assumed, didn't we? We didn't plan.
Half an hour's up. Stop where you are. Half an hour. A shed up. Well, almost up. Not bad going. I tell you what, you must be frozen by now.
No, we're not cold at all.
Why don't we go and have a cup of coffee? Right, okay, that was quite fun. I'm going to start by actually asking you, how do you think that exercise of putting the shed up went?
Brilliant.
I think we were quite organised in the fact that nobody's wasted. We were all busy doing different bits.
And nobody was taking over. We were all working together. But I think if we'd had a bit more time, we would have stood back and
planned it.
Got things
Yeah.
out and had a look at what we'd got and decided who would do what, perhaps.
Yeah. Having said that, I think we were quite organised.
We communicated with each other about what we were doing.
Okay, so what's the downside of what you did?
We didn't plan.
Yeah, we didn't think about it. Yeah. We didn't have the.
The fact that the
Come on,
floor was
Stephen.
needed on the roof.
We didn't have the time to do the planning, but in an ideal world, we would have been able to plan it more.
Was there anything else you noticed about the way that you actually worked on it as a team?
I think we did split. We had different groups.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
I noticed that.
But I wonder how many people might have felt that there was a lack of direction and focus, a little bit on occasions just sort of like, I'm standing here and I'm not quite sure what I should be doing.
I did.
I did.
Yeah.
But I was willing for someone else to. I felt that you knew what you were doing, so I was. I was happy for you to
Carry on doing it.
I felt a bit inadequate because I didn't feel I had the necessary skills, so I was quite happy to take my lead from other. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
I was happy to just collect the resources that people needed because I didn't really know what stage with the big materials was needed, really.
Well, it was kind of interesting for me as an outsider watching it, because, I mean, what you're talking about now, I think has some real parallels with how you are as a team, actually. You've said about lack of time. Well, that's one of the things you've all been saying, that, you know, there is a real time pressure on you as a team. And maybe one of the things that you might want to think about is we can't create any more time, but maybe we have to use the time that we've got slightly differently. I'm wondering if you need to invest a little more quality time in yourselves as a team and make some real priorities around what's important about coming together. So that was kind of one thing. And then I think you were right. When I watched you, I thought, oh, this is interesting. You've just split into two teams. Guess what? Experienced group and the less experienced group. And it wasn't because there was any animosity. I mean, the nice thing about your team is that there's no animosity. And I think that what has happened, although it's quite a natural thing to happen, is something maybe you want to think about. How can you address? How can you integrate more? Because when I watched you do the shed, you just naturally drifted. And interestingly, when you were all together, there was a sense in which I think some of the people that I've got in the kind of the new group, if I can put it like that, if I read the body language right, it was a bit like I'm looking for direction. So I think maybe, you know, one of the things you could think about as a group is how can the people with the experience mentor more, but also bring out the people, okay, who don't maybe have as much experience and provide some more focus for that. But at the same time, I think the people who don't have that experience maybe need to actually ask for things. Because I've got a feeling that there's a sense in which maybe you don't ask. So maybe there's a 50-50 coming together that might actually help, I think, with the cohesiveness of the group. Does that make any sense to you at all?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. How about having a group meeting where you talk about some of these things, look at maybe slowing down, and also then think about this, how can experience and learning come together? Because you're all highly talented. So maybe that's going to be an open and honest discussion when I'm not here. Yeah?
I think we can do that.
Mm-hmm. Good, because I will be back.
We've had this email from Gladina. Right, so it says, I do think your team would benefit from continuing the discussions you started before you all left on Friday. The less experienced members need more direction while being encouraged to grow, take responsibility and make independent decisions. They all manifest the same trait but in different ways. They do not like to be perceived as needing guidance in case this can be seen as incompetence. Then she goes on to say, it is easier for an outsider to see the difference between those of you who are experienced managers with the confidence that comes with that and those of you who are not.
Since the filming, things have progressed quite a lot. We've had several meetings to discuss roles and responsibilities, which we've all agreed on and we are all happy with.
We had a discussion last week and we were thinking about pairing, if one of us paired up with like one of you.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And did things like classroom observations.
I also thought about having specific areas.
Are you writing this down?
I am.
Oh, good.
The issue of, you said there about doing some work together would come through from that, because we'll have to do joint lesson observations. So we would pair up, obviously, and go and do some joint observations on that.
We've begun to recognise about delegating a bit more and giving them the opportunity to develop their managerial skills, which has included, a couple of weeks ago, the 3 senior leaders, members of the team, left the actual premises, and the 3 less experienced were actually in charge of the school, and they had a very successful day.
We have got an opportunity, okay, from September to build into the timetable, you know, some time that we can say, ensure that you're released for, to do something worthwhile that involves the whole school or the whole key stage. And I think that's acceptable, and I think the governors would find that acceptable, that as part of your management role that you do have some time, that's a timetable.
Also, we have agreed some time for management so that we can fulfil our responsibilities correctly.
I have to say, I found this whole experience quite positive. It's helped with sharing the load.
So yeah, I think it's going okay.
I think so, yeah, I feel a lot happier.
2 months later and nearly the end of the summer term, so it's back to Boker Vale to see how the team's getting on and to have a chat with them, firstly in separate groups, then all together as a team.
Ian, Gloria, Fiona, it's been a couple of months since I've been here, and I guess now it's time for me to have a catch up with you and say, how do you think things have been this last couple of months? Kind of what's worked for you and what might be outstanding?
The way the new members of the team have adopted their roles, if you like, and we've clarified their roles, and they seem to be happy and they seem to be growing into them, shall we say.
And I think it has opened up a lot of discussion amongst the 6 of us, how to move things forward in terms of, because we've got inexperienced people and more experienced people. We've had several meetings about roles and responsibilities and about developing the inexperienced members of the teams.
We've been a bit clearer about when we need to involve all 6, and I think we've been better at cascading the information down to the management team before we do it to the whole staff.
We are getting better as well at delegating things to the new members of staff. But there's a new trust, and we're seeing them blossom as we delegate certain roles. We're identifying strengths that we weren't aware of before.
And have there been any downsides to any of the work that we did, or are there still some things you think need to be done?
So shed outside needs finishing off. No, I think seriously, I think there's still a lot of development that we can go through, and we're just at the very early stages of the team working together and working effectively together. But what we've done in the last couple of months is made a great start on that.
Because it sounds from what you've said was one of the things that you've really learned is the fact that you had to be very clear about things. So I think what you guys have been doing is being very open now, very clear, not making assumptions and ensuring you elicit comments. Because you had it in your heads, but maybe you hadn't quite explained it to the other 3 quite so well, or found a way of putting that together. So well done, guys. So how's it all been going for you?
It's gone quite well. We've got mentors each. I'm with Fiona.
Okay. I'm with Gloria.
And I'm with Ian.
Right. I've met Fiona on one occasion. We just had a brief meeting and that went well.
I've yet to pair up with Gloria.
I'm the same as Lindsay. We haven't actually had any time together.
But we are going to do it, aren't we?
We've spoken about our roles as well, senior leadership team and senior management team, so that's clarified.
And what's been the upside for you? And then we'll look at what maybe there is still to do.
We're clearer. I'm clearer about what I should be involved in. And we've started to think about having areas of responsibility for next year. So generally feeling a bit clearer about it, I think.
So what else do you think you need now? Because that sounds like a sort of good things in place, but I bet, what else is there?
Well, I just feel we need to try it and get on with it, really.
Okay. One of the things I'd like to say to you guys is, look, if those meetings aren't in the diary, guess what? Ask for them. All right, ask for them. Because one of the things we talked about last time was you having a voice. If you feel you're not perhaps, getting the kind of meeting structures that you'd like I don't know what you'd like, would you like to meet, say, once every 2 months with your mentor officially? Does that make sense? Because I think there's probably still a bit of a tendency for the voice not to be there. Well, guess what I'm going to do now, guys? I'm going to put you all back together again as a main group. So if you could do me a favour and get the others, then I think what we'll do is we'll sit down and we'll really consolidate what you have done. Gosh, all back together again. Before I leave you today, what I'd like to do is maybe get a sort of pulling together of the things that are there. From what I've gathered, things have improved on both sides of the fence and both sides have more positive feelings about things. But just to make sure we consolidate them, I'm going to ask you to do a little exercise with each other. For the senior management team, I'm going to ask you a question. How do you think the junior management team are feeling now? If you were them, putting yourself in their shoes, what improvements would you feel from your side of the fence?
I guess perhaps that we feel more as a team now rather than two separate entities.
I'm hoping that they feel more supported, that we've had more meetings and that everything's open and honest, so if they've got any questions they feel more relaxed at coming to find out the answer.
And now you guys, if you were the senior management team, what do you think you'd be feeling now?
Hopefully they can delegate a little bit more, so that might be a good feeling.
Less work's always good when you can delegate it.
And just that we've got a workable team, something that we can work on together.
And I think that, you know, what you've just been doing now is about how you build on what you've got. You've made a tremendous start, and I think you have, and all the infrastructure is in place. So now it's about making it happen. But maybe what you also need to do is to schedule in next year at some point a review for yourself. And I think maybe on an annual basis, take stock of what you've got, where you are and where you want to go. And that means you all keep control of it.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
Right, in which case, schedule that into the timetable too.
And again, it will happen if it's in the diary. So,
That's fantastic. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been very good.
Well, when experience meets inexperience, it's not surprising that both sides make assumptions about each other. And I think what this group have learnt is never make an assumption. Oh, and also make sure you timetable everything, because if you don't, it'll never happen.
It was fantastic to ask Gladina to come in to work with us as a team, because it's meant that we've analysed how we work together. We're forming a closer relationship as a team as a whole, and I think that will be of great benefit to the school as we move forward in the next couple of years.